Hey, what's happening, guys? I'm ika.himee, and welcome to my channel. So, I thought I'd do, just kind of more of a chill video, I guess. I just didn't want to do another speed paint. I thought I would do something more, fun, maybe more personal? I don't fucking know. I guess you guys can interpret this any way you want to. But basically it's just gonna talk about stuff while drawing real time. So you kind of get a feel for my speed. I don't know. I just thought it would be more interesting or something. So I mean, if you're wondering what my bare bones sketches look like, basically, a lot of this is erased now, but this mess is turned into this thing. And if you don't know who I'm drawing, I'm drawing my character Lumina. She won the Patreon poll for January, and I'm just now getting to the January monthly illustration. Which, by the way, if you want to vote on monthly illustrations, you can totally do that. You just go to my Patreon, drop $1, and ta-da! I actually do have a poll posted right now that you can just pay $1 and go vote on, so that'll be fun. But yeah, this is my original character. Yep, she is she's a Lamia, and I guess that's pretty much it. I don't know that there's really anything else that I can say about her, at least not right now. But yeah, so I mean, I thought kind of I would talk a bit about my roots, my art roots, basically where I came from, and what got me into anime and art and all that cool shit. I don't know if this is going to be at all interesting to any of you guys, but I was like, you know what, whatever, fuck it, who cares, you'll either watch it or you won't, don't matter. But I always thought it was kind of more interesting to hear, how people got their start in certain things. So, even though I'm kind of not a super important or riveting individual, I thought maybe it would be more interesting to see where I came from. I don't know. I don't know. But I did just reach 300 subscribers, which is really cool. And it's kind of unreal at this moment. I knew that I would get to 300 because I could see the counter going up all the time and quickly approaching 300, but being here is kind of weird, I guess you could say. I don't know, it's crazy because honestly, when I started posting videos to YouTube, when I first started, not many people gave a shit at all. I didn't really get a lot of views, no one really cared, and I was like, whatever. I didn't post very often because, I didn't really have the time to, and I still technically don't really have the time to, but I'm actually making the effort, so that means I will be kind of 2 birds, 1 stone-ing this shit. Basically, a lot more of my work stuff will be, a lot more of my work stuff might be posted on YouTube in speed paints or videos or whatever. And I do want to do more fun videos because I do enjoy doing fun videos. I think they're nice, but we'll just see how that goes. But yeah, so I mean, it's kind of it's a weird thing to see being at 300 because, starting out on YouTube, I didn't think even 100 people would care to subscribe to me. So the fact that I even reached that was a pretty big deal. And I know that I didn't publicly thank you all for 100 subs, but it was kind of more the moment passed me. I had planned to do more, I had planned to thank everyone for getting to 100 subs, but then by the time I had the time to make a video to think, I was already at like almost to 200. And I was like, well, this is a little late. And then, you know, at that point, like 200 doesn't seem, you know, like, I don't know, I don't know. I just then I was conflicted about making, you know, like a thank you for whatever subscribers video, you know, when I got to 200, because I was like, well, I don't know. I don't know, and I just ultimately decided not to do one for the 200. But you know, I guess for the 300, here we are. I guess, yeah. So I mean, really, I know it might not seem like I'm being super appreciative or whatever, but really, you guys are really cool. So thank you guys so much for sticking around and watching my videos and liking my stuff and supporting me. It's really cool of you to do that. And to everyone that like comments and stuff, like holy crap, and especially to people that are like, they bring me stories and stuff, like they can relate to my stories in some way, or like they tell me that I'm, you know, really entertaining and they really enjoy my content, like stuff like that really makes my day, because, you know, I'm just being me. At the end of the day, I'm just being me, and you know, it's just cool, you know, because I don't want to be fake with you guys. I don't want to like make up a personality that you guys are just gonna see online and then, you know, have that be a totally different person, you know, in real life. I don't want to be like that. So, you know, this is basically my most authentic self that you see here on YouTube, and it's really cool of you guys to want to hang around. But yeah, so I thought I would, you know, just kind of, while I'm sketching this stuff out, I thought I would kind of talk a bit about my roots, where I came from, how I got into anime, you know, all that cool stuff. While I'm totally fucking this up. Oh god, it might not be a good art day. It might not be a good art day. But you know what? I'm gonna power through it, because that's what I do. I don't know. I drew that because I was like, maybe if I draw that, it'll make it less lewd, but I'm like, no, it just doesn't make sense. I'll, you know, move that, I guess. I don't know. Why am I focusing on her butt? I don't know. I just don't know. But yeah, I was like, what can I talk about? And, you know, so I was like, roots, talk about your roots. So that's what I'm gonna do. Actually, like, my main roots go back, because, you know, I spent like a lot of my life, I didn't really know what anime was, and I was actually drawing manga / anime style stuff for like, I don't know, a year before I ever even knew what it was. Like, I know that sounds like so embarrassing to say, but like I had no idea what anime was at all when I started drawing it. I just liked the style, and, you know, yeah. So what I would do when I was younger, I would go on to like, actually, like, okay, anime was always a part of my life. Let's you know, go through that part. Anime was always a part of my life. I just didn't know what it was, because I grew up in the United States. And if you are unfamiliar with this, or you grew up in another country that is not the United States, we had, you know, I was a 90s kid. Okay, I was born in the 90s. So, you know, early 2000s, you know, like, if you're unfamiliar with the United States, what they would do is that they would like bring anime over to America, basically, and but they didn't want to keep any of the Japanese themes in it, and I'm not sure why they did this exactly, and I think maybe it was like they didn't think that we could comprehend another culture, or they didn't think it was super necessary. So they just did what I call culture dubbing for that stuff, and I'm pretty sure I've talked about culture dubbing before. I couldn't imagine me not talking about it, but because it was like such a big deal. But basically what they did is like they took the anime and then they dubbed it in English, but they took out all of the cultural references and they changed them to suit the country it was being dubbed for. So for, you know, the United States, they were dubbing it to fit, you know, United States culture. It's really hard to say that we have a culture, because we actually have like just many cultures, and anyone that doesn't have a definitive culture or you know, isn't attached to their lineage is like just kind of like wandering in no man's land, you know, between streets filled with both Mexican food and Chinese food, and you not really knowing where to go. It's basically, you know, but so they would dub it to fit American standards, basically. I don't really know really how progressive Japan was at that time, and I know that even today they're kind of like not as progressive as anime would like to make them out to be, I don't think. You know, especially like in regards to like gay relationships or whatever. It's still like, I think it's still kind of like one of those weird, awkward things that, you know, just kind of goes undiscussed for the most part, except in anime and manga, which is, whew, it is talked about a lot in manga. Girl, oh god. But I think it's just, again, kind of one of those things that is avoided a bit. And so there being, you know, gay relationships and stuff in anime, that was always going to be edited out for America, because if you don't know this, only just recently did people of the LGBT community actually get, you know, like the same rights as other people. So yeah, clearly they were going to take any hint of gayness out of any show that they were bringing over, which in turn just kind of made it more weird. It really did. In a lot of instances, they really just, they had a goal in mind and they completely fucked it up, and it just made it really weird. So yeah, but like, you know, I grew up with Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z and Hamtaro, and even Naruto a little bit. Like, not a lot of Naruto, because that was a bit later, I think. And I, you know, obviously I didn't really see a lot of it. But yeah. So like I grew up in that age, and like, you know, like Disney was doing like a lot of Studio Ghibli dubs and whatever at the time, and so those were being put out as well in like theaters and stuff. So, you know, anime was like a part of our lives, even though a lot of us, we had just no idea that it was a part of our lives. And I remember when I was younger, there was this McDonald's toy, and I don't know what year it was. I don't know how far back it went. I'm sure I could look back and find the year, and I could probably find the toy exactly with a little bit of research, but like honestly at this point, like I can't remember exactly what toy it was. I just remembered having it, and I really want to say that it was like a Goku toy, because there was like a time where they were doing like, I don't know, like a Dragon Ball Z promotion or whatever, and you know, McDonald's had Dragon Ball Z toys, and I fucking loved this toy. It was like my favorite toy, and I don't know, I have no idea why it was my favorite toy, but it was, and I played with it literally all the time. And I know I got rid of it. Like, I know I got rid of it. I know that it's not just like laying around somewhere, because God, I wish it was, but I kind of remember making that exact conscious decision of like, you know, when I hit that age of like, I don't know, 9 or 10 or something, and my mom just kind of being like, so do you need this toy anymore? And I was like, nah fam, I'm good, and got rid of it. Like I pretty much vaguely remember that happening, and I'm so sad now, because if like I could go back into the past and like change that, I'd be like, don't get rid of that toy. And like, God, I really wish I kept it. Not because like I'm a huge Dragon Ball Z fan or anything like that. Yeah, because I'm not really, like, I don't remember much about Dragon Ball Z, to be honest. I remember really, really loving it as a child, but I don't know how I feel about it now. And I should probably, like, actually take the time to watch it again, because it really has been since I was a child that I've watched it. So, like, I should probably, you know, check that shit out again to see what's going on. I don't know. It's not my thing. Like, clearly, as you can see, I'm a shoujo artist, and like, I do enjoy like other stuff like shonen and, you know, even seinen. I would say that I even enjoy that as well. But it's just kind of, you know, where my stylistic choices are. It's not super appealing to me. It's very angular, and I like very brown stuff. So visually, it's not as appealing to me. So that's probably why I haven't ever made it back to watching it. But yeah, so I mean, but I really do wish I had kept that toy, and because, you know, that was kind of my start, you know, that was, I don't know if it makes sense, but it was kind of like the beginning of who I am as a person, even though at the time I had no idea that was who I was or who I was going to be. Because this happened, you know, several years before I was ever like reintroduced to anime, because for a long time anime completely disappeared from the United States. Like, I mean, you could still watch anime obviously, but like from regular, you know, network programming, TV, cartoon networks and stuff like that, like it was gone for like a long time. And I don't know what happened. I don't know why it just vanished, but it did. They stopped showing it to us. And you know, I had completely forgotten it existed, and I had never really known fully what it was. So, you know, we fast forward to about 5th grade, I would say. And at this time, anything anime related that I had, anything Sailor Moon related, anything Dragon Ball Z related that I had has, you know, long since been gotten rid of, or is buried under a pile of, you know, avalanche-worthy stuffed animals. Like, whew, you had to tread carefully through my room, which, you know, is not much different from today. But like, in 5th grade, I think it was at this point, you know, YouTube was kind of becoming a thing. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure it was a thing before that. Like, I remember the old YouTube, and I don't know exactly when the old YouTube existed, but I know that I remembered it, because I still remember like the old format, and like the no advertisements and stuff, and, you know, fucking when shoes came out, and, you know, all those videos, you know, anyone early 2000s that was like on YouTube, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, I remember all that stuff, and they were like huge, you know, like old Greg and shit. And like, I remember that, and I would go on YouTube, you know, periodically to look at videos, and then I honestly, for the life of me, I cannot remember what videos I watched before I watched art videos. Like, I can't remember any of that stuff. Like, I don't know what I did for fun. Like, I know that I watched like the shoes and the old Greg shit, but I think most of my time on YouTube was spent with my friend and her showing me all the stuff that she found, like, you know, salad fingers, you know, all that old shit. And because I don't really remember searching much of anything on my own, but it was kind of like, I don't know what I think it was maybe like, because I wanted to learn how to draw, I think, you know, because I've drawn my whole life, honestly. Like, you know, I wasn't like, you know, obviously I didn't come out the womb like drawn like a professional or anything like that, obviously. You know, I wasn't like a prodigy, but I would draw all the time, you know, as a kid. And kind of just, I guess it just kind of like more expanded, I guess, my desire to draw. And I ended up like going onto YouTube and looking up drawing videos or whatever, and I honestly, I can't remember what the first thing I would have searched would have been. But I do remember at some point I had stumbled across like one of those videos where it's like a compilation of someone's drawings from like this year to this year. So there's like, at the time, I think it was like a lot of, you know, my drawings from, you know, like 2005 to 2008, 2009. That, and I'd be like, oh, fuck yeah, I wanna watch that shit. Like, I think it was like a lot of it was like my drawings from 2003 to 2005. And then I'd be like watching these videos and be like, oh, that's so cool. And there's like some of them, I wasn't like super picky about what I would like look at. I didn't have, because I didn't know anime was a thing, so like I wasn't it wasn't like a big deal to me, you know, what I was watching, because, you know, all art was kind of cool to me, and I was like, whoa, cartoons, whoa, this anime stuff that I don't know anything about, like, it was all just kind of cool. And a lot of the drawings that I found myself like most attracted to were anime drawings. And that was kind of like, and I eventually had learned that that's what that was, and I was like, oh, cool, so now I know what to search for, because keywords are really important. And I would just kind of look for just anime stuff, and I found tons of videos, and there was like all these drawings, and I was like, well, maybe I can just kind of like reference these drawings. I can like copy them and, you know, draw that way. Which, you know, if you know me, you know my stance on this, basically. Wow, that line doesn't make sense. Oh, no, it does. No, it does. Never mind. I think it does. Shit. Does it? Crap. Well, you know, it does now. It does now. Like, you know my stance on this, basically. Like, I don't think tracing helps anyone. I mean, some people believe that it helps, but I think that it's kind of silly to try and train your hand to do something when you should be trying to train your brain to do something. So yeah, I think referencing is a lot more effective than just tracing stuff. 'Cause, yeah, you know, just my opinion, and people have tried to fight me on it in the past, but I'm like, you know, it's an opinion, so no one cares, basically. But yeah, so like I would try and draw the stuff, and so there's like a sketchbook I have somewhere, and it's filled with like some original stuff that I try to do on my own, but there's like a lot of referencing stuff, like from other artists. Because you know, at the time I didn't think about like referencing life things. Like sometimes I would though, like I would, but they were like different contexts. Like if I wanted to paint something, I would maybe like go and sit outside for a couple hours, and then I would try and paint the yard, and it always looked like shit, but I was always so proud of it because I painted it. But you know, I wanted to draw cartoons. I knew that I liked cartoons. I had always watched cartoons. I loved cartoons. I don't know why I liked cartoons, I just know that I did. And yeah, so I mean, that was what I wanted to do. And I would like just kind of reference the cartoons. There was like a lot of, like, even like the legit cartoons I would sometimes, but it was mostly I would like reference fan art, because I found the styles of the fan art to be usually a little bit more appealing than the original styles of stuff. So there's like a lot of I referenced like a lot of Chowder fan art, and a lot of just Chowder in general, because if you don't know, Chowder was one of my favorite cartoons. And I honestly, I cannot for the life of me even remember when that came out, or when, I just remember being really sad when it like went off the air. And oh god, I think I probably like cried that day, because it was literally like my favorite. And it was my first, I think it was, no, it wasn't my first was Pink Panther, but it was like one of the first cartoon DVDs that I ever got. So it's clearly very important to me. But there would be like lots of, ouch, my neck. Oh god, this sucks. There would be like a lot of, like, you know, just a lot of fan art drawings and stuff. From, you know, ranging from different series and all that. And You know, even I remember specifically, I don't remember anything else in this sketchbook because it's really old, but I do remember that there is one, the first page of it is a sketch. It's not a sketch, it's like a finished drawing, I think, because I use like colored pencils, of Sam from Danny Phantom. And her anime style, like, I remember that specifically. But I don't remember anything else in that sketchbook. I'm sure, I think that sketchbook's still posted on like my really old YouTube channel, which I'm not going to link to, by the way. I am not going to show you guys that. I might have taken the YouTube channel down. I don't know. It's been a long time. But like, yeah. So I referenced a lot as a kid, and I didn't really understand. But I would try and draw my own stuff too. So like I was putting forth the effort to try and like do my own thing as well. And yeah. So God, I kind of like lost my thought. Fuck me, Jesus. I really did lose it. Holy crap. I do not believe this. I'd reference all the time. Oh yeah, okay, so like, I mean, we're gonna fast forward here a little bit to about 6th grade, and I had met someone, like my friend had kind of like introduced me to her, and it was kind of like, because I've never made a friend on my own. I've always made my friends through circumstances of like, you know, either I am part of a thing that they're also part of, and then we become friends that way, or said friend introduces me to their friend, and then we just become friends through mutual friend, basically. So that's how most of my friendships were formed. And I had met this friend that way through another friend, and she would draw stuff. So I'd say that 6th grade was really like the pivotal point in my life, for especially art. And she, like, it took like a little while to like figure it out, because I think we only had one class together, but it was the most important class because it was like the lunch period class. God, I think it was the lunch period class. Pretty sure. So like we did spend like quite a lot of time together, and she had like, I saw her drawing one day, and I was like, what are you doing? And she was drawing these characters, and like at the time looking at it, it looked like so impressive. I was like, holy crap, that's like so good. Can you teach me how to draw? Of course I was like that. I want to draw too. And she was basically like, yeah, sure, totally. And like I would just watch her draw at lunch and stuff. And then eventually like I started bringing my own sketchbooks and whatnot, and I would draw at lunch too, and I would draw in like a similar style to her. And then, you know, obviously I kind of got bored. Her style, I want to say, was like really Sonic inspired. Like I don't know if that was her intention. But you know, it's kind of like the big feet, and I'm pretty sure the shoes were like really similar to like Sonic's shoes. And I was not a Sonic kid. I'm not a Sonic kid at all. You know, I never played Sonic. I know what Sonic is. I know, you know, of the games. I've watched people play the games, and I know that Sonic was like a big deal for like a really long time. And I also know that a lot of the games are super shit. Like, but that's really all I know about Sonic. But like I knew a lot of people that really loved Sonic, and I think that she might have been one of those people. I'm pretty sure she was, because I think I saw her draw Sonic like once. But you know, yeah, so like my style kind of was like very similar, because I didn't have a style. At that point I was still very reference based, you know, I didn't know who I was as an artist, so basically I was just kind of like copying what she was doing, and you know, just basically changing it up for context, like, you know, individual drawings and stuff. But eventually that year, I think it was that year, I'm pretty sure it had to have been that year, you know, I kind of got bored of drawing characters that way. You know, I was like, okay, I feel very limited and stuck So I had ended up expanding. And at this point, I was a middle schooler at the time. God, this is gonna be like really embarrassing for me to admit to you guys. Holy crap! But I was a huge Twilight fan. Yeah, just get it all out now. I can hear you laugh and just get it out. No. I was a teenage girl. Basically, if you wanted your girl card, you had to be a fan of Twilight, just saying. But, no, actually, like, I really did. I mean, oh god, the movies were dog shit. But the books I actually quite enjoyed. And, you know, God, I'm gonna be killed for saying this. I actually would be willing to reread the books because I think that I actually, like, would genuinely still enjoy the books. And God, I know that's like such an embarrassing thing for me to admit publicly on my YouTube channel, holy shit, but yeah, I actually do think that I would probably still like those books. So back to the drawing thing, it's like, I was huge into reading in general. You know, I had read the Harry Potter books, I read, God, because Breaking Dawn came out when I was in 6th grade. Shit, when did it come out? Yeah, it had to have been when I was in 6th grade because I remember my friend handing it to me. She gave it to me to borrow from her, but if you want to learn anything from me, you know, fair warning, if you lend me a book, you will never get it back. I am like a book dragon, okay? I hoard that shit. I don't know why. I've always been that way. So, probably about 10 of the books I have are because my friends let me borrow their book and they never got it back. So sorry to you guys, but yeah, I hoarded that shit like gold. But yeah, so yeah, it was like 6th grade. So a lot of my sketchbooks and stuff, they were filled with like tons and tons of Twilight fan art, and I'm also not super proud to admit this either. I had a very basic teenage life. You know, I wasn't anything special. I was subject to the same emotions that a lot of people go through, except in my case, a lot of them were amplified because at the time, I actually, like, I had pretty bad depression, and I didn't know that, which I didn't actually, like, really know about depression as being, like, a condition that you could have until I was, like, in 8th grade, I think. So, it was very easy for me to get depressed, and art was a way for me to vent. And it's not so much anymore because I've actually kind of moved out of such a stressful environment, you know, since I'm not in school anymore, I don't take classes, you know, so basically I just have to deal with everyday life, which is hard in itself, not because I'm, you know, a fucking big old puss or anything, but because there are things that are going on in my life that are very difficult to deal with, but, you know, I don't have a choice, so yeah, I do get depressed quite a lot. It's just that now I'm an adult and I kind of know how to handle it, and I know where my limits are and stuff like that, which I didn't really know that back then. So a lot of my art was very angsty, and you know, there were a lot of vents, and I felt sad a lot, and yeah, so that's basically so, you know, it was like a combination of like Twilight fan art and then vent art and then, you know, Twilight fan art / vent art, and it was just, it's an angsty mess. So, you know, and on to top it all off, God, we're gonna get really embarrassing on my channel today, guys. I was a goth kid, and I know that I mentioned this before. I was like a low budget goth kid. I couldn't afford to have the cool scene kid shit, but I had the black wardrobe. I had black jeans, black t-shirts, black jackets, black hair, black everything, basically. Like, if I could, if I would have been allowed to, like, wear black lipstick to school, I might have done it. I had friends that did it. And I was like, whoa, you were allowed out of the house like that? You shouldn't have been. But no, really, like at the time I kind of like admired them because it's like, oh, I always wanted to wear black lipstick. But yeah, irrelevant. So, you know, I basically, if you were to look at my sketchbook and look at a picture of me, you'd be like, yeah, that fits. So yeah, I was that kid. But at this point, 6th grade, I had actually learned what anime was, and my first manga was Vampire Knight. And oh god, I know what you're gonna say. I can hear you say it. You're like, man, you got like the worst one. First of all, you're wrong, and fuck you, cause fuck you. And second of all, I know that it's like, I know that it's not like, you know, freaking God's gift to literature. Like, I know that it's not, and but I love it so much. Like, I haven't read them all, obviously, because nobody has time for that. I wish I had time for that, but I don't. But like, I fell in love with the art style instantly, obviously. So for a while, a lot of my art became very Vampire Knight inspired because the art style was gorgeous. I just loved everything about it. It was dark like my soul. It was just perfect. So I tried that style for a while, and then, you know, I started watching anime a little while after that because I'd finally officially become part of the world. And God, I want to say, I don't think, because like I think I tried to start with Vampire Knight, like episode 1 was as far as I got because I was, you know, searching for it online and I couldn't find the other episodes of it, so I always just had like the first episode, and that was that. But God, this titty, Jesus. But like, crap, forgot. But yeah, so like I tried that, and then, you know, I watched other, and then I'd like watch other animes. So it's like, I think my first official, because, you know, everyone was like, watch Hetalia, and then I watched Hetalia and I liked it initially, and then, you know, thinking back on it, I'm like, that wasn't actually good, and I don't like Hetalia. I actually hate Hetalia. I think Hetalia is the only anime that I hate. So just so you know, because I have people that are like, do you have any Hetalia fan art? And I'm like, fuck no, get out of my sight. I'm actually like not rude about it, but I definitely don't have it, nor will I ever have it because I hate it so much. But yeah, so I watched Hetalia and Fruits Basket, you know, all the basic stuff. And I mean, that was kind of like the start, and that kind of is what got the ball rolling, I guess you could say, on anime in general. And I mean, that's kind of, you know, kind of where I got my start. And there's a lot of other facets to it that I don't know, if you guys want to hear about any of this stuff, you can let me know and I'll talk about it. Or I'll talk about it anyways anytime I want to do like one of these videos. I don't care. But if you actually enjoy listening to me ramble about shit for like, I don't know, a long time, you guys just let me know, and ultimately just let me know what you guys want to see, because I really do want to make content that you guys will actually want to watch and like enjoy watching. And I don't know what that is, because I'm literally so boring. I just watch art videos all the time. I really do. So like, sorry, I don't know how to please you guys. So yeah, please just tell me what to do, and I'll try and do some stuff. But I mean, yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me, and I hope that watching me do this real time wasn't too painful for you, but I'll see you guys next time. Bye.